Welcome to Sonographers in the Cities, where we connect through sound with your hosts, Lynn and Geselle. Welcome back to another episode of Sonographers in the Cities. I'm Lynn.
And I'm Geselle.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode.
Yes, you guys, we have a very special guest on today, and we're so excited for her to be on. We have Natalie Avni from the TikTok, That Ultrasound Tech. If you guys haven't seen her, but she's wearing her iconic blue scrubs, and I'm sure you've seen her. So welcome to Sonographers in the Cities.
Hi, thank you. And thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here, especially after meeting you, girl. This is amazing.
We're so excited to have you on. For those of you guys who have seen our posts, I'm sure you have. I'm so blessed to be able to meet her in person, and it's all thanks to AIUM. So thank you so much to AIUM for doing that. Yeah. And so we wanted to bring her on to share her story. I feel so grateful to have her on. She has been a sonographer for a while. She's definitely got a lot of relatable stories on her TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah,
so,
I do.
This podcast is all about you, girl. We just wanted to share your story with the world. So tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
I'll try. So let's start with what I do and who I am. I am Natalie Avni. I'm an ultrasound tech. I am specializing in mostly OB GYN, but that is not everything that I am. I am also a wife and a mom of 3, which totally takes up most of my schedule, but they kind of work in between. Even when I'm at work, I deal with their stuff and think about them all day. So they are my world. But when I graduated, I thought I was going to do just hospital work and, just be at the hospital. That was my passion. And slowly but surely, I kind of went through the OBGYN route, and I've been there for 10 years now. So that is what I do. And I create content on social media, which I love doing so much. And it's such a great kind of mix to do both. And also I try not to have everything ultrasound, which is really hard because that is most of my life. But I recently started, incorporating day in the life and more of what I do and more of my family and general life outside of work to kind of create the culture that we can have, another life too, not just professional.
Yes, we love that. Thank you so much for sharing all of your good stories and your life. I know it takes a lot to be on social media. Lynn and I always talk about it on this podcast about work-life balance and trying to balance it all. And you are a shining example that it is possible. So we love that.
We can, if you want. And it's not for everybody, because I'm sure people look at my stories or at my posts and they're like, this is so exhausting to watch. How does she get off of work and then get ready and then go out? It's literally, when you want to, everything is possible. That's for sure.
I just think it's how do you find time between your busy schedule of working and personal life of being a mom, a wife? How do you find time to make all those amazing videos and TikTok videos?
So with what I love about the fact that I get to do it at work is that I don't bring my work home. So I do get I have a 1-hour lunch break. I have my own office, which if I don't have any patients in the morning and I'm early, I get, I knock out whatever I need to. And most of it, an hour is a long time. And I usually just get the chance to do it on my break. And, who needs to eat? Just kidding. But, it's just I get most of my content. I create it at home. I brainstorm at home. Some of them come up like that, while I'm, working, but your brain is kind of worked into thinking TikTok and the trends are in your head. So it just makes it, a lot easier. But then I come home and I have a whole other job here. So I have to create that separation. And I love that I get to do that. And I work 4 days a week. So on a Friday when I'm off, I basically create my regular content that has nothing to do with the sonography. And I try to find a balance. I learn all the time, how to do better. And without my husband, I wouldn't be able to do all that. That is how I find the time, because he takes the time that I can't do anything with. And, he makes the best out of it. And he acts as a mom and a dad many times. But this is like, us together. So he's always been like that, which is just amazing. Shout out to my husband.
Yay. Shout out to support systems. We love that. And
Yes,
that's what
you got to
we
do
need.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Even in school, if I didn't have him, I would not be able to do anything. Like, because I had a baby when I was in school. My son was like
Oh.
1 when I started the program. Yeah, it was intense.
How was that
Intense.
experience for you? Because I know that there are a lot of moms in programs nowadays. So how was
Yes.
that experience?
It wasn't easy. And I always say you have to have a support system. And it doesn't have to be like a husband or a boyfriend that lives with you, just anybody that is supporting you through the process, that understands how important that process is to you. It could even be a friend that's going to take over the kid, pick up, the kid whenever they need to, when they can't make it. I was working some like night shifts as a student because that's what I got as a clinical, as in my clinicals, I couldn't choose. I know every program's different, but you get what you get and you don't get upset. So if I didn't have a support system, I couldn't do it. So also not working. I know a lot of students do work in between the program. My school did not recommend it. And actually, if they heard that someone's working, like they really would make a face about it. So what do you do with the kid when you can't work? It's crazy. And you got to just find the loopholes. We took loans. It was not easy, but you made it happen. That's for sure.
That's amazing. No, it's definitely a boost of encouragement to a lot of our viewers or listeners, because they do question that aspect of, can I go to ultrasound school as a parent and work at the same time? And so just showing that you can have a work-life balance, or even just focus on school as well at the same time as having another, I guess, priority, if school
Right.
isn't your number one priority for a lot of people who still have other things they need to figure out in life. But we like to share that it is possible as long as you're passionate and you have the dedication to do that.
And that one person that's going to be by your side. That's all you need. Like literally one person.
So let's backtrack a little bit as to why you chose sonography. So could you share a little bit why?
I always say sonography chose me. Like, I swear there is like no better example of like my story of this, because I've been getting ultrasound since I was 14. I had a lot of ovarian cysts all the time. Like I would suffer like almost on a monthly basis. And it wasn't like PCOS or something. It was that one dominant follicle growing, like for all our ultrasound people that get a kick out of this, growing to like 6-7 centimeter as an ovulation cyst, like ridiculous. So obviously it's very painful, and I would get frequent ultrasounds, and then it would always interest me. And then my sister became pregnant, and when you don't have kids yet, you're like, your nephews are like the world, so it's like, this is my baby. So I would always go to ultrasounds, and I don't know, I would always see well. Like now I know that I really had an eye for it. Not that it means that whoever doesn't have an eye for it can develop an eye for it, because you definitely can. But I just always saw everything. And the tech always said, you always like see so well. I remember I was like a teenager. My sister is older than me by like 6 years. So I'm like, I know I like see everything. So then that kind of like started spiraling in my head. And then one of the universities came and gave us like, different career paths in high school. And they said that as a career path. And I'm like, ultrasound is a whole career. Like I couldn't understand it because to me, they always looked like doctors. That's why I never judge when someone says, "Thank you, nurse," or "Thank you, doctor," like saying, "No, I'm an ultrasound tech," because I also thought that the person that's doing my ultrasound is a doctor. And then I was like, this is it. And I started the program and got pregnant. And
What are
then
the
I'm like,
odds?
what is happening?
Oh,
I was like, what is happening? But it all happened for a reason because I became even more passionate, knowing that I'm in this path, going through all the ultrasounds for my pregnancy. I'm like, I just can't wait to give birth to go back to school. So that was
that's
my
like the
story.
ultimate shadowing experience. I'm sure because you were getting them yourself, and then you could probably be
Yeah,
like, look in, and that's really
yeah,
awesome.
I was
yeah.
wondering how that was for you because when I was learning OB in my program and scanning myself like in labs, I was like, sometimes I wish I was pregnant so I can understand what I'm learning. So I
Right.
wanted to ask you how that was for you being pregnant and learning
So
OB at the same
that was
time.
before I started my program. So
Mhm.
I only did my prerequisites. I got accepted to the program, and that's where it ended. So in
Okay.
my mind, I still thought ultrasound was nothing like what we ended up finding out ultrasound's
Mm.
about. So I'm like, I'm probably just going to scan babies. Here we are, pancreas. I have no idea what I'm looking at, but it's just like the route, like you never imagine that that is what ultrasound's all about. But I can say that I literally took so much more interest, and I was lucky to have techs that literally explained everything and got excited and passionate about me wanting to become a sonographer. And from being on the internet, I hear unfortunately that a lot of sonographers are not as nice and are not as caring. And, I feel like that's everywhere in every career. So I learned to appreciate that I myself had an amazing experience. And I learned to, accept that a lot of people don't. And it's putting, unfortunately, like a name on on us for who are passionate and who are caring. But I hope that we try to change the stigma by creating more content. And that's where my passion's for, just
Yes.
I
create
totally
to
agree.
show the culture that there are some
Yeah.
good ones.
And that's what we love about the social media aspect of it all. So this ties
Right.
into our next great question, which is how did you start your social media platform? So we are so curious because obviously Lynn and I have this baby podcast here. And so we're
Mhm.
just honored that you're on our podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm so
But
honored to be here. This is like just the beginning of something great because
yeah.
so many people can get so much information and the fun out of it. And you guys have a
Mhm.
great chemistry. And I told you that from the beginning. Like I feel like this is amazing and I'm so glad that you're doing it. And
Thank
because you have
you.
to have, chemistry, that comes first. It's just kind of like a FaceTime talk. Like I'm having a great time with you right now. So
Thank you. Oh, we appreciate
of
that so much.
course, of course. So how I started, it was 2020, COVID-19,
Mhm.
and everyone downloaded TikTok. My son was like, "Mom, please download TikTok," because he wanted to be on TikTok. So I'm like, "Okay, let me download it. Let me see what it's about." Me thinking it's just a bunch of kids, just dancing and whatever. So I scroll, and of course, my For You page, if anybody is not on TikTok full time, your For You page is kind of like curated to the things you are interested in and like. So if Instagram has an explore page, TikTok is like to the dot. Like it still amazes me like how I have people like comment, "I just left my appointment and I had the same diagnosis." Like wild that these things are showing up on people's For You page. So I started getting nurse TikTok um, videos. And I'm like, my gosh, I wonder if there's like any ultrasound like content. And at that time, there was none. Like maybe
There you go.
one, two. I was like, but what about us? Like all I see is nurse TikTok. All respect to nurses, but you know what I mean? This is like, what about us? So I started just doing family fun with my kids because we were bored and in quarantine. And then I was like, okay, let's just post a trend. It was a trend with like, I don't know if you guys remember it, if you've been on TikTok that long, but it was like the Taylor Swift Romeo, where you push like
I
a
remember that.
skateboard. Okay. So I didn't have a skateboard. So I told my husband, let's do this. It's fun. You pretend like you're the skateboard. I'm going to push the phone and you're going to back up. And he's like, yeah, sure, no problem. My son thought it was so pathetic and he made so much fun of us. So he recorded a behind the scene. So I took that behind the scene and I posted it. And that one went viral for the wrong
Wow.
reasons. My Please hold. My kids were in the pool, and I guess it looked like my daughter was drowning when I have no pool gate. And clearly they're all swimmers, but it looked like it, and it got viral for that reason. And I said, you know what? This is my time to use this platform because I don't know, this is my Israeli business like kind of like mentality that I have. And I was like, this is my time to post the content that I really want to. So I made one skit about I don't know if you've watched Friends, but the whole scene of I can't see it. I
Oh,
see
yes.
it. So I was like, let me kind of use my acting. I had a love for acting always. I'm like, let me kind of use my acting and do that skit. And it went viral. And then from then I just started creating more. And it was just like fun.
That's amazing. And then your
Yeah.
page went viral.
So, yeah, I mean, I always say I never had, a lot of creators have this like one video that made them blow up and gain 1 million overnight. Like I never had that. For someone who's been doing this for like 3 years almost, my growth has been pretty consistent, but it has been growing and I've been getting 1 million, like, as far as like views, like all the time. But it's just, I have a community that always retained. I gotta say, it was never like kind of like, let's gain 1 million and none of them are supporters and a lot of hate comments. Like knock on wood, I have a very positive vibe on my comment section most of the time. There's always going to be that one, cancel culture. It is what it is. They can interpret everything to whatever they want. But yeah, so that's the story of TikTok.
That's amazing. We love that so
That's
much
so cool.
because
Very
especially-
inspiring.
Yeah.
Thank
You're
you. Thank you.
definitely a product of hard work, I think, and passion. It takes a lot to do those videos, I think. I don't know. You're probably very expert at it already by now. Probably make
No,
in,
it
like, a few
takes a
seconds.
lot. You're right. It takes
But-
a lot in the beginning until it
Yeah.
becomes nature.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they're awesome. They're funny.
Thank
They're
you.
engaging. If you
Thank
guys
you.
haven't seen her videos, where have you been? Because they are truly very much so relatable. And it's like when one person sees a video, they think it's funny or they think it's relatable, they will share it. And that's the power of social media. And so we're
Right.
definitely proud of you for everything that you've done with your page and
Thank you.
that you continue to do. And so for those who are listening who don't know or want to know where to find you, where can they find you?
TikTok, Instagram, Facebook pages. Now I'm on Snap. Someone told me I got to get on. There is no end to this social media world. I just can't handle it. But yeah, mainly TikTok and Instagram.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
we definitely do support social media and we love what you're doing. So keep on doing it. And
Thank you.
we
Thank
definitely
you.
appreciate you coming on. A few things we would like for you to share
Sure.
before you go today would be, what is the most challenging aspect about being a sonographer in the OBGYN field and what's the best for you?
I'll start with the best, the positives. It's always easier because it's such a rewarding career. Like it's being a part of so many people's journeys from while they're TTC, like trying to conceive, wanting, to have a baby, getting checked regularly as a GYN patient, then becoming pregnant. And I've been in this practice for 10 years. So I've seen some patients since they were teenagers and now they're like married and, kids and all that. So just being a part of a journey, even when it's a sad one, knowing that you kind of like you're a positive role in this whole thing, if that makes sense. Even in the saddest time, when you know that you can give that patient comfort, you know that they're going to always remember it as a better experience rather than, having someone who's like sulking or having an attitude. Or even in the happiest moments, I've heard of people having such bad experiences. It's not right. So the best place, like, I feel so good going home knowing that I made a difference, that I made someone's day, that I gave someone extra pictures and that made their day. Or especially, this is specific to OB. And I feel like, even with GYN, this girl found what was wrong with me. No one else could find what was wrong with me and why I am bleeding this way or not ovulating this way. And this ultrasound was done correctly. And, like, these kind of things that just make me love my job. A lot of people always tell me, like, you should quit your job and do social media like full time. Why are you like, I can't. This is my passion. Like, social media makes me happy that I make people smile, that I, do, the creativities, and I can make people relate to content. They think they're alone. And here I am posting about postpartum depression, and bam, yes, it makes my entire day. And when I get a DM saying that I changed someone's mood today and made them happy, is everything. But the physical reward is the best part of ultrasound. That's for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, no, I agree with you. So with that, in contrast, what would be the most challenging part?
The sad stuff. Even if it's in a position where I can give results, someone like me, I'm such an empath. I mean, I'm a Cancer, so that's all I got to say.
Me too.
Oh, trying. It's just something that, I don't know. Are you an empath? Is it true that we're like this all the time?
Yes.
It's the hardest thing. It's something that in school they were like, "Oh, you're gonna get tough skin." No, I'm not. I am not gonna get tough skin. I feel like, it just obviously depends on the patient's reaction a lot of times. If it's, a little cooler or a little bit more understanding, depending what it is, I can still stay supportive and calm. But when it's dramatic, it's hard. It's very hard. And in my office, I work with a lot of providers that I've been working with for, the last 10 years. And, it's not like they know how to read every single ultrasound. They're OBGYNs. And the reason why we kind of give results is because they have a screen in front of them. They see if something's wrong with the baby, they see. And that is just, no matter how many times I could say it, I take a deep breath before, and that is literally the worst part of my job when they're asking me, I can't see the heartbeat, and I have to go through that. It's like, everybody can imagine what it feels like to like go through something like this, but I feel like until you go through it yourself, you can never understand it. And no matter how many times I experienced it with family and friends that unfortunately had that as well, it's like my voice is cracking just talking about it. It's just the saddest, worst part of my job. It really is. But again, this is where you got to like also look at the positivity, knowing that you're a good support system for them, and to think that, at least there's someone who cares in this room right now and they're not alone.
It definitely is. And we all know being in the healthcare field, it's going to have its challenging and tough days and tough exams. And it's something that for those who are passionate about, I know can get through, and we all get through it together. And that's why we have this community as well. So as far as all of that goes, and since you are specializing in OB, do you have any advice for those who are interested in going into OB, or any tips, or what would you say to a student that's listening right now that says, hey, I want to do what she does?
Do it. Because if you have interest in OB, you already have the passion. Because I had so many students, like, colleagues in my class that were like, I would never want to deal with pregnant women. I would never want to see all day. And it's like, you're a no. You're not a candidate already. But when someone wants to do OB, they know what they're getting into. It just becomes better when you are really doing it because you're realizing what kind of an important role in the pregnancy you're in. Like you're literally looking at the baby from head to toe, making sure that everything is okay with the baby. And yes, the doctor's going to review it and the doctor's going to give the results, but you found it. You called it. You looked and made sure that everything is good. And to me, that is like the most rewarding. So if someone wants to go in, don't think about the sad parts. A lot of offices, you're not allowed to give results. So to some, this is easier. When people hear that I kind of like talk to the patient, they're like, I wouldn't want that. To me, it's more humane. Like I feel like I'm more of a human and less of a robot. I remember being in the hospital and the screen had to be this way. Even if I found the gender, I can't tell them what the sex of the baby because I'm not allowed. So there's like so many things that make us look like that, but we're not really like that. But the guidelines of the place make you look like that. So it just depends on the environment you like to work in. And there are so many choices. That's a beautiful thing about ultrasound. Tomorrow I can wake up and say, I don't want to do OB anymore. I'm going to go take a registry and become something else. Or, I mean, what we saw in AIUM, you can literally work at a med spa as a sonographer and like do like whatever you want. And in sports medicine, like there's so many things you can do. You can go back to school to teach without an education degree. So no matter what, I always push people to ultrasound and people are like, stop, you're getting this whole thing saturated. And I don't care because this is such a career that is not spoken about enough. The choices you have are endless. So
Truly,
go to
yes.
school and go to ultrasound.
Very good advice.
Yeah.
We are here to share and spread ultrasound awareness, and that really is the icing on the cake. Just do it.
It is. It is. Just do it.
Lynn, do you have any other questions for her?
No, I think she answered all my questions. It's just pleasant to hear her talk. It's just so motivating and inspiring.
Oh, thank you.
And
Thank you.
the only other thing I wanted you to share for our audience truly was just going to be about your experience about AIUM. That's where we met and we had a lot of fun. So, but I want to know from your point of view, like, what'd you think? How was it? Ultracon?
So I think, first of all, I was shocked at the amount of providers that were there. The residents, the doctors, so many people have interest in ultrasound. Mind blowing. You know, this is like, we're like that little child that nobody knows about our capabilities yet. And like, we're like, what? You guys care about us? So yes, that was like the highlight. And I loved it. First of all, the whole, what was it called? The playground. I can't speak. The playground, that whole experience, seeing all the different machines, getting the scanning. The students got the whole SonoSlam the day before I came, and that is amazing. So I didn't think it would be so much for students. I just thought I was going to see a bunch of sonographers there, but I was just pleasantly surprised to see about how this community is really about. And I would totally go back next year, 100%. I mean, I am going back next year. And I really think that if you're interested, like the girl we met there, if you're interested in sonography, she wasn't even in the program and she came to this conference. Amazing. And if you're a student, if you're a sonographer, the things we learned there are like, you know, maybe to some wouldn't be as interesting, but you got to pick the stuff that really interests you, which I love the fact that you can go on the app and see what courses you're going to go to. And yeah, I feel like next year with our help and our, you know, what we're going to tell everybody over there, because they already wanted to know a lot of information. And I love that they wanted the feedback. I feel like we can make it amazing. So keeping it even more amazing.
100% agree. I hope that Lynn can come out next year too.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, no hoping. You are coming.
I'm going.
Because I want to really to like push this whole live podcast on stage there, because I really think that would be so cool, like listening to a bunch of speakers, anything that has to do with ultrasound. I've been to a conference before that they did a live podcast there. It was amazing. So You're
Ooh.
coming.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
That'd
I'm
be so
You're
coming.
amazing.
coming. Yeah.
Natalie for Ultrasound President 2024.
Yes.
Seriously, truly.
I gathered y'all.
We're just so excited for what's to come, and I am so glad that the ultrasound community is what it is, and we are so thankful that you came onto the podcast. So thank you for sharing your story, and I hope we
Yes,
can have you
thank
on in
you.
the future.
Same, and we'll do more of these. We'll get all kinds of fun topics.
Yes.
It was
All
good
right, we
seeing you.
appreciate you.
It was
Yes,
so
thank you so
great.
much.
Thank you.
See you
Of
next
course.
time.
Thank you. Good night. Bye.
Hey, SITC fam. If you like what you're hearing, don't forget to rate us 5 stars on any podcast platform. Leave us a review wherever you can. And don't forget to subscribe to LL Geselle on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and find us on Facebook at Sonographers in the Cities.